excited to share with you a little bit of springtime today. This is the card I made. This is a simple Z-fold card, and it opens like this. Has a little sentiment on this panel here, and then a plain panel here where you can write a note to someone. And this card is exactly the same, except I've used the yellow Daffodil Delight on this panel that it's embossed. And this opens like this. Very easy to make and just kind of puts you in the mood for springtime. So I'll tell you what we need for this card. First of all, you need a piece of purple posy cardstock. And this is 5.5 by 8.5, and it's scored at 4 1/4, and then at 2 1/8. So it folds like that. I'm gonna reach my bone folder and give a good crease. 4 panels for the 4 mats, and these are cut at 5 1/4 by 1 7/8. So there's 3 plain ones, and then there is also one that you probably can't see this in the video, but it's embossed with a SCRIPTY embossing folder. And that is from the annual catalog. It gives it such a, kind of a romantic look. So I've used that embossing folder on just one, and that's going to be this panel right here, or right here on this card. Then the other thing you need is you need 1 strip of designer series paper, and this is from the In Colors for 2019-2021. It comes in a pack where you get all of the different In Colors and a couple different designs. This has a gingham on this side and then kind of an argyle on that side, but we're going to use the gingham today. So the measurements on this piece of designer series paper, and you only need one, it's 5 by 1 5/8. And then you need some scrap pieces of Whisper White to cut these shapes. You're going to need, and this is using the Stitch So Sweetly dies. They're in the new spring mini catalog, and they're on page 20, the Stitch So Sweetly dies. So you need to use 2 of these dies. You need this larger shape right here, and you're going to cut out a piece in Whisper White and a piece in Granny Apple Green. And this larger shape on this side right here, you're going to cut out in Granny Apple Green. And so here they are. Here's my Whisper White, Granny Apple Green, and my other Granny Apple Green. The star of the show today is Inspiring Iris, and I have not used this stamp set yet. I really enjoyed using it today. And the 2 stamps I'm using are this one here. This is your greenery for right here, and I stamped that first, and then this stamp is actually 2 blooms connected, and all I did was I lined up this bloom on top of this stem here and stamped for right there and also for the inside here. So we're using this stamp set, and also we're using the small little butterfly from Enjoy Life, and I'm using this butterfly here that's open. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do some sponging on the piece of Whisper White that I've embossed. And this is the piece, and I know you cannot see the embossing on it very well, but very lightly, I have a piece of a sponge here. These come in a round shape like this. You just lightly, I'm going to lightly dip it into rub it on the stamp pad. And you can do it this way too. You can see the top of the letters are picking up the color, the purple color. And you just want to start light, and then you can always add more. And as you can see, I'm going across like this. It was warm today, and I thought, man, it would be so nice just to do a spring card with spring colors and put you in the mood for springtime. And you can go off here if you think you got too much ink on your sponge. Just kind of do it on the side first and then go over it like this. All right, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to adhere it onto this panel right here. I'm going to use my Tombow glue. I like this glue because you just need a little bit of it, a very small amount. We're going to put that on there like that. I am going to take one of my Whisper White panels, and again, these panels are 5 1/4 by 1 7/8, and I'm going to layer it right here. I think that's straight. And now my Designer Series paper, this is a panel the Designer Series paper is going to go on. Like that. And we need one more panel here, and here's our card. We have the same pattern stamped here as I've stamped on the front here. So I'm going to go ahead and stamp both of those. I'll lay that on there. I'm going to start with the Granny Apple Green for the foliage. Let's see if I can stamp this upside down for you to see it better. Think about like that. And then I love it because it gives it kind of a watercolor look. All right, so I have die cut this large white tag with this large shape from the Stitch So Sweetly dies, and now I'm going to stamp it. If I can, here we go. First thing I'm going to stamp is the foliage. Okay, and now I'm going to come in and I'm going to, you see this is one stamp. It's the 2 blooms of the iris. And I'm going to line up, I'm going to do it this way so you can see it better. The bottom part of this large bloom at the top of that green stem. I'm not even looking at the smaller bloom, I'm just lining up the larger one here. Okay. And then I had already stamped this. We need to stamp our blooms on this one too. Again, we're lining up this bottom part of this largest die right there at the top of that stem. Okay, and there is that, and we're going to stamp our sentiment on it. Sending hugs, prayers, and lots of love. And what we have left to stamp is our little butterfly. And I'm going to bring him in, and I'm going to just stamp one here. one going this way, and probably another one, maybe right here. Then on this, I'm going to stamp one here. And then up here probably. Now I tried putting a small rhinestone on them, and I didn't like it. It looked too big on the butterflies, but you know, you may like that. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take the green piece that I cut with the same die, this piece here, and see how it's going along the edges here. We're going to put it on behind this. I'm going to cut it right in half, like this. You can eyeball about where the middle is. And you want this stitching to show, so we're going to put the glue on this side. And I'm not going to take it way to the top because it will show the glue. I'm not going to put the glue way at the top of the edge. We're just going to lay that on there like that. The same thing here. Don't go all the way to the top. You just want it kind of in the middle here to give it enough stick to hang on. There, isn't that pretty? Now, because this is sitting on, it's not all the way on, the back of it isn't all the way on a piece of cardstock, and you have this showing, I put another layer on the back just to make it look better. And as you can see, it will cover it, but it hangs over a little bit on the edges here. And what I did was, where the stitching is, I just, on these two sides, I just trimmed that off a little bit, like so, and you're going to need to trim your corners a little. Maybe a little, just a tad more on this one. Oops. There. So I'm going to put some adhesive on here. We'll lay it on this like so. Now I'm going to take my card base here and we're going to adhere this in there. And you want to make sure you line up your top edges here and your bottom edge. That looks pretty good. Whoops. Needs to come back over a little bit. There we go. And I did put a piece on the inside here to write on, to write a note. You know, it's so encouraging to get a note when you're not feeling well or you're going through some problem in your life, just to know that someone else cares. And I'm going to space it about the same on either side there. So our inside is done. Here is our Z fold. See, it looks like a Z. Now I'm going to take this and I'm going to line it up so it's halfway, going halfway mark is about where the cardstock folds, and I'm going to glue this side of this. We don't want to glue on the other side because it's going to show. I would say right about there. That looks pretty good. I'll just give it a little back rub there. Now I'm going to take some Whisper white. This is our crinkle ribbon. Make a bow. And pull them both tight, and we're going to trim these tails. Adhere it on here. Usually I use my take a pick tool and I just forgot about it. We'll put that right there like that. And the only other thing I used was gingham. I don't know if you've seen these little gingham dots in the back of the catalog, but they're really pretty, and they have an adhesive backing on them. Just going to put one right there. And we're done. We're all set to send a little springtime to a friend. Thanks for joining me today. I hope you stop by again. Take care.